How to use Comfy UI running in Google Colab to generate text, to generate video from text and images. So because it's running on Google Colab, it's potentially a cheaper option than buying an expensive workstation or I guess subscribing to some expensive video generation services. And speaking of those, let me start off by showing you what those look like. So this is Runway AI. It's a service that generates videos from text and images, and here's some of the example stuff that it can generate. So here's a monster, so it looks pretty cool. Here's an explosion. And so, I mean, it's pretty good, but I was just tired of paying for credits, and it just felt like I was getting less for more every time. So I wanted to explore other options, and I discovered Comfy UI. And my first impression of this UI is probably yours as well. Is what the heck is going on? Why is it so complicated? And I think the way that I like to think about it is think of it like a car, right? So here's like an example of a polished UI. This is called Playground AI. You give it some prompts, you give it some stuff that you don't want, you maybe have some other stuff that you can tweak here. But for the most part, you're not exposed to the guts of how it works. And Comfy UI sort of takes the paneling and off of the car and exposes the engine and shows you the reason why that's so popular is because if you are so inclined to mess with the engine or the way that it works, you can produce some really interesting results. So here, let me give you an example of that. This is an artist that I follow on Twitter. He uses Comfy UI to create these sort of surreal, monstrous things. That's the best way I can describe it. But he has like this conflicts workflow in Comfy UI to get these videos. So that's like the main draw of Comfy UI. So in addition to it being potentially cheaper, like if you start to mess around with it, you can make some really mind-blowing stuff. But let's look at this. So this is the default workflow. This whole connection of diagrams and nodes, it's called the workflow, and this is the default one. It's just to generate images from text. So it was a beautiful scenery in nature, and that's what they got back. And so what's nice about it, is that you don't really have to understand how to connect these nodes until you need to. There are workflows that you can grab from the internet to whatchamacallit, to enable other stuff like video generation. So in fact, I picked one up the other day for doing that, and let me load it. So here is, where is it? Yeah, this is the one that I had. So this one uses Stable Diffusion to generate video from an image. So let's pick one. Let's say, for example, how about what's a good one? Oh, let's do that one. Let's compare it. See, so that's the input that I use in Runway AI. So let's see how this compares. And you do have some parameters. Motion, yeah, that's probably enough. It's probably good enough. And Q is what runs it. So there we go. Let's wait for it to generate, and it takes about 3 minutes. And while that runs, let me show you how. Let's talk about installing it. So what you do is you go to the main Comfy UI GitHub, and there will be links to that as well in the description. And if you go down here, they have a section called Jupyter Notebook. Installing, yeah, here it is, Jupyter Notebook. There it is. And here is a Jupyter Notebook, so that you can just download, and then once you're in Google Colab, just upload. And it's literally that simple to run it. And so this is that notebook. It's all it does is it mounts your Google Drive so that you can save all of your models to Google Drive and not have to download them each time. It installs some dependencies. This you probably want. This is how you can download models, and you only can and just note you're only going to do this once. Another note too is that if this seems like gibberish or hieroglyphics to you, there are more intuitive ways of doing that. Namely, this thing called Hugging Face Hub download. So here I tried to download this video. It wasn't working because that's a gated repo. You have to actually, you can't do it you can't download that particular file in an automated way. You have to actually go there. So here, let me show you how that process basically works. So basically, say for example here, this is the Hugging Face website for the Stability video diffusion. You download it to your hard drive, and then remember that this is saving it to Google Drive. So if you go to Google Drive, My Drive, where is Comfy UI, Models, Checkpoints, then you just upload it here from here. So here's the button. So you would navigate to where you download it, select it, and upload it there. So that is if you didn't want to use this way or this way. That is if you didn't want to do it programmatically. It is still possible to do it, like if you were on a regular computer. And then once you get some models downloaded, you just run it. You just literally hit that button here, play, and run Comfy UI with Cloudflare. It'll run. It takes maybe like a minute to load. And then they get at the bottom of the load, they give you URLs that you can click to open it. So if you click that, that takes you here. And it's still running. Let's see how it's doing. It is halfway done. Probably another thing I should talk about while that loads is nodes. So let's talk about how this a little bit about how it works. So in general, you really don't, you find a workflow that you like, you download it and you upload it, and that's it. You should be good to go. But a little note about how stuff works. Basically here, let me show you guys if I can do this. If you grab a selector like here, so this takes the image output, right? And you pipe that result to what's called a node. And here are recommended nodes, but you can also search for ones. So I've had it hooked up to one that what is it? I forget what it's called. It's called save animation web. Okay, so that one's going to save it as an animation ping. Let's see if we can change that to I think it's called no, not save image, video, sorry. Yeah, here we go, video combine. So let's do that as well. So frame rate, I think we got everything. Let's see, monster. Let's not save it as a GIF, let's save it as a video. And let's leave all that other stuff as is. Yeah, all right, so now basically once this whole workflow is done, it's gonna save it both as a video, thanks to that node, and it's gonna save it as a animated picture, as a picture that's animated. And the way that you install these nodes is probably the most complicated part. Maybe I'll explain it maybe in a subsequent video. But that is probably the most complicated part to do, because you do have to technically go to the repo where you want it. So here, let me show you what I mean by that. So this is called Video Combine. So Video Combine node Comfy UI. So here is the repo for that, and you do have to clone that into your Google Colab notebook. So that, and like I said before, that is probably the most complicated part about this whole thing. And it should finish, so let's wait for it to load. Prompt executed, and it is just loading. Maybe the video is already done. Maybe it's, let's see, where's output? Here is output. No, not yet. Come on. Why are you going so slow? Oh, there it is. All right. So it is pretty shaky. So that was probably an example of a bad video. It's just shaking, so it's not really that good at all. But yeah, here's Comfy UI. So let's talk about use cases. I don't generate a lot of videos a month, maybe a couple of minutes a month. I mean, that's still a lot of videos generated because they're about 4 seconds each. So it is a lot, but I'm not generating hours of videos. If you are, or if you need really high resolution videos, you probably want to get a dedicated computer to do this. Google Colab isn't going to cut it, or it will, but you'll end up spending a lot of money on computing units. So it's probably not I guess not ideal for you. But if you have a simple flow where you just want some videos, Comfy UI is definitely the way to go. It looks like it. I mean, it can be potentially. There's one caveat that it should mention here is that the workflow that I'm using assumes that you have different size widths and height, specific ones, and I was using different ones. So maybe if I change that, I might get a little bit better results. So anyway, that's it. Thanks.